Hello, everybody. It's
It was
Wednesday, and this
Wednesday.
is our last episode of 2020. Can you believe it?
Yes, I can believe it. And it's amazing though. We did it.
We did it. It was fun. We did it, and I'm really excited about coming back next year and all of the things that we planned for the next year. So this was just something that we started, COVID, just trying to figure out what we're going to do and being in the house. And so I'm really excited about today because we're talking with some of our friends about their holiday products and, so people can order and really support Black businesses during the holiday time. So, other than that, how's this week been for you?
Wow. It's been very exciting, overwhelming. Oh, by the way, you look beautiful. Cheers.
I got my Christmas hair on. Cheers.
Yes. I got a little sparkle going on here. I mean, I got dressed up for our ladies. We got boss ladies on today. So, we had to put a little lipstick on, do a little shimmy. I see you have your tree up. I wanted to get my tree up, but I didn't have time.
I've been dying to put that tree up for weeks.
I know, girl. I know. But it's only Wednesday, but it's been a little busy, overwhelming. The weekend was packed, but lovely. I'm here. So that's good. How was your week? How was your week so far?
This week has been crazy. I have a project that I'm working on that just needs to get finished. And so it has to be done by Friday at midnight. Okay. So I'm almost there. I'm almost there with it, getting it finished. So anyway, let's talk about our first guest. Mm-hmm. I was reading her bio. She was talking about her mom and her grandmother cooking and then all of her products. And then she was like, the part that I loved is that she, thank you, Jessica. She said that she wants to be the next B.Smith, which, I absolutely love B.Smith. So she's my Black Martha Stewart, but better. So Chef Danielle, I'm going to bring her on and she can introduce herself and tell us about all of the amazing things that she has going on.
Awesome.
Hey, Chef, what's going on?
Hey, ladies, cheers.
Cheers.
We were like, wait, we have to get a cocktail.
Yes.
So I just want to let everybody know, in the spirit of holiday and supporting Black businesses, this is what I'm drinking. I have another bottle that was already open. It's my
Black Girl Magic.
Yeah, it's my McBride Sisters Black Girl Magic Red Blend. You guys need to go to their website. They have some holiday packages and some gifts. And yes, I know you can buy it at Target, but it really supports them more directly from them. And yes, shipping is just a little bit more, but that's because they ship it ground so that your champagne is not popped by the time you get it, or nothing weird happens with your wine. So please, you guys, go to their website, McBride Sisters. They're in California. Get their wine. It's amazing. And besides, I decided that since we have so many beautiful Black women in the White House, Black Girl Magic wine is the drink of 2020. So 2021. I don't care which one you get, but we need to be drinking this all year long. So that's what I'm sipping on. So
that's right.
So, Chef, thank you so much for coming on. Tell us about, girl, in such 2 paragraphs, you had so much going on. I'm like, does she sleep?
I really don't. I get very little sleep. Right now, I'm in the middle of opening up my food space.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. So today they delivered my equipment. A piece was met. I just was like driving back and forth. And my friend, he was so calm and chill, just helping me. But it's a lot. But this is what I signed up for. This is what I love. It's in my veins. Yeah. So I'm definitely, trying to follow the footprints and the blueprint that my grandmother and my mother laid out for me. I'm trying to follow their blueprint and creating my own simultaneously. So it's I have big shoes to fill, but I'm ready because I'm opening up 2 spaces. I'm actually, they're like 3 doors down from each other, and one is going to be my takeout restaurant and the other one is going to be a kitchen for other chefs to come and cater if they want to.
Beautiful. So
being in that arena of a commercial kitchen and seeing how Black faces and Black voices are muted in those arenas. We are muted. It's so hard for us to do all the things that we need to do and all this paperwork that's involved and all this. And I want to streamline it for others, because I believe that you can help anyone, no matter where you are in your journey, whether you're starting off in the middle, you can still help someone. Yeah. And that's my philosophy, and that's my mantra, is to help people along the way, every way. I try to help everyone. And I know that process for me was hard, being in that arena, and you're seeing like white faces there. They got all these orders, and you don't really have those kind of orders. And they have a support system, a great support system that we don't have. All these resources
here is creating that support system and that space together. And this is so crazy because we moved into this pandemic and me trying to figure out what to do, my whole thought process was, God, I'm just going to have 100% faith in you. And I'm going to just take the step and know that there's going to be something there. And so when Erica was like, well, I want to bring on Chef Danielle, and she was kind of telling me about you. And I was like, I want to bring on Sheila. Me and Sheila have cooked together on live locally, but you guys have similar stories with the mothers and the grandmothers. And now Sheila's working with her daughter and her granddaughters and creating that like legacy. And that speaks to what you said. We have to create the ecosystem for ourselves as Black people, but specifically Black women entrepreneurs. Absolutely. And we have to create that space to bring in other people. So I'm bringing Sheila on too, so she can join in this conversation with us. Hey, Sheila.
Hey, Sheila. Y'all.
Hey,
what's going on?
Cheers to all the boss ladies in the house.
Cheers, ladies. Yes.
Cheers. So Chef Danielle was just telling us about, she stopped at having big shoes to fill with her mother and grandmother, I believe. And so that's why I was like, let's bring Sheila in here so she could talk about that. And then we can just have our little session.
Absolutely. Now, I was listening to the introduction and I thought, oh my God, I don't know a Black woman in this space who does not aspire to be the next B.Smith.
Right.
She was our everything.
Yes. Yeah, she was. And the sad part is she didn't have any children to continue her legacy. So in legacy legacy is not just your legacy, but the legacy of people that look like you. So her legacy, I won't let it stop with her, because even though she's passed away and she didn't have any children, we have to pick that baton off the ground and we have to keep and run with it.
Yes.
Which is why I was so disappointed in her husband. But we're not going to go down that rabbit
trail. Right, exactly.
I'm just dropping that and putting a period at the end of that sentence. I was very disappointed. How dare he diminish her legacy like that? The end. So,
period.
Moving right along, because we can talk about that for 2 hours.
Right.
Sheila, tell us a little bit about what you're doing here in Kansas City and and don't let Sheila fool you. She'll say she's not a chef, but she does amazing.
Now, I have this theory, and this is just kind of my theory, because I work my ass off for my MBA. Okay. And you ladies who went to culinary school, y'all worked y'all ass off too. So how dare me, a home cook, come along and try to claim that credential? That would be like you saying you got an MBA and you don't.
Well, we appreciate it.
So I respect the credential. And so I'm a home cook. And, all of you ladies, my mom was my inspiration. She transitioned. It's been 7 years. In fact, yesterday would have been her 73rd birthday. My mom passed away very young.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah.
And so it's like, what? And I remember she would say, all the time, because I've had this Gangster Goodies idea for like 10 years. And she's like, I don't know what you're going to do with it, but I need you to hurry up while I'm still here to see. Okay. So although she's not here physically, I do invite her spirit in, because everything that we do is in her honor and in her name. And so we COVID has kind of changed it up a little bit. Thankfully, I had at least 12 episodes in the pipeline, so it didn't, you know, kind of hit me all at once. But I invite members of the community into the kitchen studio. We cook together, we eat together, and then I interview them. Because why? Because that's what our mamas and them did. They solved the whole problems of the family in the kitchen.
Yeah, you're right.
We came together, we connected, we build together in the kitchen. And so that's our why, because we believe that the kitchen is uniquely positioned to help bring families and communities together one meal at a time.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
And so the clothes you see behind me is like, what the hell does clothes have to do with the kitchen? Well, we're Black women. We like food, we like fashion, and we like a little gossip too, Shanita. So maybe we'll talk about Miss B.Smith's husband.
right.
So in thinking about that whole B.Smith model, for real. And I often say that because I single mom, my mother was a single mom, and my mother was an LPN. And, you know, we grew up I didn't know that it was the hood, the projects where I grew up at. You know why? Because of how my house looked on the inside. Mm-hmm. When it was springtime, all those heavy drapes came down, the fresh, airy spring ones came up, the table decor changed, the bathroom decor changed, all of that changed with the seasons. And so when I think about all of that, it's like, how can we take that? How can we continue to honor my mother's legacy through those things that she was passionate about? My mother loved linen. She would spend her last dollar on fine linen, okay?
I understand that when I'm the same way.
I get it.
So Chef Danielle, you were talking about, well, in your bio, you felt like you had the best of both worlds. So talk us through that. And then you can tell us a little bit about, I know you've got the 2 spaces open, but you also have some products and projects and please
also mention your project that you just finished. That was in the park. Was it in the park? Yes, please tell us about that too.
Get a chair. Go get a chair, ladies.
Yeah. My grandmother was a baker. She had a little home base, you know, back in the day. There was no, you know, you ran stuff out of your home and it was, you know, it was okay. And my grandmother had a baking business, and she made like little, you know, homemade cakes, pound cakes, pies and stuff. And her neighbor, Miss Shirley, had a Tupperware business. So they collaborated, and my grandmother would be like, listen, if you want to carry this cake home, how you going to carry it? Go buy a cake carrier from Miss Shirley, and then you could come back. And then she had that label maker, the puncher, the old time one that punched out the letters. And she had everybody's name on Mr. Carl and Miss Betty and Mr. So-and-so. She had all these containers in her kitchen and the cake carriers, and that's how they formed it. They collaborated. You know, my mom was she liked to entertain. Like, you know, like Shanita, my mother I would come home and I'd be like, oh, so it looked like we moved, but we actually didn't. You know, she got down so she would reupholster the whole couch. Reupholster the couch. And I'd be like, girl, what? You know, so my mother would.
Yet, but don't let me get a hold of some fabric and a staple gun, okay?
Girl, my mother with that staple gun, I used to be like, there she goes, she's at it again. But this is what I saw. She would entertain, but she was an amazing cook. Yeah. Like, she would cook, and she would have gatherings at our house like every Friday. She would buy the latest music that came out on Fridays. Luther, whoever came out, she would go buy their album, put it on, and she would cook, and people would come over, and they would actually spend the night, sleep on the floor. Everybody be everywhere, get up and have this huge breakfast. And my mother began like catering little events. So I got like the best of both worlds. I knew how to do both. My sister, she's in Delaware. She's a chef. She's about to get her food truck. So, and my brother, who passed away 2 years ago, he was about to start launching his sauces, but we didn't even get that far because he passed away unexpectedly. But, you know, it's in our veins. It's in our blood.
Yeah, and I think that's why, you know, we have Christy was one of our first episode, our first guest, and it seems like all of the people that we have talked to that are people of color, women of Black women, we've had some adversity during this pandemic, but really everybody is thriving and adapting and doing really, really, really amazing things. And that's, you know, I feel like that just has to be highlighted. It has to be highlighted.
At the same time, you know, ladies, it's our culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are supposed to adapt and keep moving. We're that strong. Nothing's gonna hold us back. So, you know,
we came from the era of rent parties. When somebody was behind their rent, they threw rent parties. They had food. They sold plates of food. People came over. That stuff like that. So, again, like I began, you know, during the pandemic, I had to pivot. I had to do, you know, I had my head wrap line because I hate hairnets. So I was like, I'm not even going in these spaces looking like, you know, like with the hairnet hair. And I would just wrap my hair up in head wraps. And I was like, you know what? I can get these made and sell them. And I began doing that. And then I got the aprons to match. Then I began to do pot holders and oven mitts and curtains, duvet covers. So during this pandemic, I created my whole line of products, and you know, men's aprons. So I fell
in love with your lampshades. Your lamps are beautiful,
right? And you know all this African fabric.
About the head wraps is my hair is smaller now because I flat ironed it, but when it's in its natural state, it's rather large. And so if I'm going to wear a hairnet, I got to wear two.
Yes, mine too.
And then if I do a bandana, I have to do like two because it's not really big enough to kind of like go around the whole poof or it's sliding off. Or Sheila, you've seen my head wrap in the kitchen. You know that thing was always all over the place. So I'm like, oh, is it? Sorry. My little bandana was always not really where I wanted it to be. So I love your head wraps and your aprons too.
And it also was a statement piece to when I was in the kitchen to let these white faces know I'm here. This is, you know, you're gonna see me. You ain't gonna. There's no way you can't see me with this colorful head wrap. And yes, I'm tapping into my African ancestry, and this is what it is. May the ancestors be with me in this kitchen, and we all gonna make it happen.
There we go.
Yes.
Yes.
Cheers. So we is in this kitchen. Are you kidding?
I love it. I love it because they do try to diminish us. Go make the dessert. Can you do salads? No, I can't. I'm not here to make no damn salad.
Right.
Wow.
Well, you know, somebody for you is savory. I'm pastry. So you know, if they tell me to go make a dessert, I'm gonna make the best damn dessert there is out there. You know what I mean?
Amen.
So, and I was only the first brown little girl in the kitchen, or the first Black executive pastry chef, or the first, and it was okay, you know. And I was just like, hey, I'm just climbing up. I'm just, and I always reach back,
right? But that's
what we're supposed to do. You know,
it was Keith Rhodes, one of our past guests, said something about sometimes your purpose is to be the person who makes the path through the woods for other people to come through. And, you know, our mothers and grandmothers and great grandmothers made the path. And people always ask like me, how did you get into cooking? And I'm like, listen, I was 5'7" in the 5th grade. Right.
Wow.
With braces and 2 knee braces and a rib. Do you think my parents wanted me outside? No, ma'am. Like, you get in the house and sit down because we don't need you tripping on nothing, falling on nothing, or hurting yourself. And so I spent a lot of time at whoever's house we were at in the kitchen, asking questions and figuring things out and wanting to know, why do they do this like this, or why do they use that ingredient, or why do they do that? And this show has created a very similar sisterhood. Because I was talking to our old guest, Nadine Nelson. We were talking about weird recipes that we found, right? I found this recipe for ham. It was in an old, like, teeny tiny little, like, Southern cookbook. But they cooked the ham in milk. And I was like, now, why would they cook the ham in milk? And so then she was like, well, that's interesting. So she's researching it too. And then she emails me at 3 a.m. She's like, it's because the enzymes made it tender and they broke it down, and the salt because it was like back then they cured the ham with so much salt and the milk would kind of
to reduce that salt taste.
some of that saltiness.
Yeah.
I knew there had to be a reason because this is an arbitrary ingredient. I've never heard of anybody cooking a ham in milk before, but things like that.
But even when you bring that up, it automatically clicked in my head only because of pastry background. If something is salty, you need to break it down in some kind of way. And milk and dairy products always does that. So yeah, I mean, our grandmothers and great grandmothers and our moms were chemists. Mm-hmm. They were figuring all this out before we even knew what was going on, you know, and passing it along to especially our Southern heritage.
Right.
And they were passing it on and feeding the white families just as much. And these kids are growing up like, oh, they know what food is. They know because Big Mama was cooking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
So I have a question for you ladies, because someone asked me this. Why is it that, you know, you have in our families, we have this one thing that like somebody's auntie can only make or someone's grandma can only make. And that like bugs me. So that's the thing, like I always wanted to get in there, like ask questions and figure out like, why can grandma only make that one cake? What is she doing? And it seems like a lot of our really good recipes are lost with the person who passes away. So that's why I really appreciate what Sheila's doing by bringing your daughter into this with you at an early stage. So that way it doesn't, like all of the pertinent information doesn't die with that person. I feel like it's because they wrote the recipe down probably and didn't write down an ingredient. And
quite a few of our grandparents, not to say, my grandmother, she had an 8th grade education, but that woman can count. She was an accountant. You know what I'm saying? So everything was by memory. You know, she put my grandmama and my granddaddy put their kids through school, but they only had an 8th grade, 8th grade education. So a lot of them, if they did write it down, like my grandmother, she could read. Like I mean, to a point because she was a Bible woman, she was a church woman too. So she was highly educated to read. You know, there's words that I can't pronounce, and they were pronouncing these words. They were writing. But my grandmother's, most of her stuff, I have her Bible. There's a recipe in the back of that Bible. So she was writing, you know, but there's certain places they'll write stuff and then they put it away and then you don't know where they put it, you know. And her pound cake recipe is in the back of that Bible.
Wow.
Right, because somebody at church shared it with her and she jotted it down real quick. Or she was writing it for somebody else. You know?
I think grandmama came up with that one. But she always had the Bible wherever she was. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, she was she loved the Lord and the Lord loved her and the kitchen. So most of the time our grandparents and great grandparents, they were, you know, a lot of them didn't, to a certain degree. I'm 51, my mom's 72. So, you know, some of them didn't even read or write, but they were figuring it out and they were making it, you know. So that's how some of them we were losing some of the recipes because they were keeping it up here. And the only way, as you, Shanita, was in the kitchen all of us were in the kitchen with our grandparents and our mamas. So you was watching. And grandma, I remember grandma say, "You see that?"
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I used to ask her, well, how do you know you got it? You know, you really got it. And she said, when you could measure with your eye, you know you got it. She said she would measure something out and she said, you know, I bet you this is a cup. And she would get her measuring cup and it would be a cup to a T. Yeah. And she knew. And she said, when you're able to do this, that's when you know you got it.
Remember, like they would do the teaspoon? They get just a little powdered sugar, and it'll be a teaspoon right here in the corner of your cup of your hand. Yeah. So that's how they were doing it, you know, and they were teaching us by sight, you know.
Yeah.
You were so right.
Now my grandmother,
but they a lot of things was instilled in them to not verbalize a lot of things. They had to keep it here because it wasn't allowed to be spoken. Yeah. And they so when you grow up with that kind of mindset, it's hard to verbalize certain things, even small things like recipe, when you've been conditioned for so long to not even verbalize. Like my grandmother, she would be like, white people. She would never say that word out loud. Never. and she was from South Carolina. She would never, it was like very low taboo. It was like white people, and I used to be like, Grandma, stop talking like that. We are 1980, and you still saying white people like that. But I had to think about the era she grew up on when she was go to the store. She had to go in the back. She would tell me stories about how she carried groceries home and they would spit on her, how they would kick her, and how she would fall to the ground with her bag of groceries. And they belittled, berated, and ridiculed Black people in that kind of manner. So when they would have their little gatherings at their homes and they would whisper about the white people.
Wow. That reminds me of, now my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, was, because my mom is from northern Louisiana, and so I never saw my maternal grandmother in the kitchen. That was not her, that was not what she left to me. It was education and gaining knowledge. And it's funny you say white people, because she would say, and I remember, and I can't even imagine probably how much my grandmother made as a domestic, but once a month I got a box of books in the mail. And I literally had 1 month to read all of those books, because when that 1 month long distance phone call took place, I had to be able to intelligently talk to her about what I read.
Orally, oral book report.
Then I would have to write about it. And then when we would spend summers down there, because we always spend summers in Louisiana, I remember my grandmother we'd be sitting on the porch now, and to this day, I don't understand it. I do, but now my brothers could run around and play and do all of that. Not me. I'm sitting right there on that porch, drinking tea with her, and we're reading, we're communicating, and she would always say, honey, now it's up to you to get it. Okay? And once you get it up here, that white man can't take it away from you. But like you said, when she would say white man, the tone would come way down.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. By the time I'm 13, I'm like, what's she whispering for? It's just me and her.
Right.
It's just me and her. But so that was my takeaway from my maternal grandmother, was all about knowledge. It was all about information. And because she didn't want me in her mind to be stuck in the kitchen. Because that's where did they put us? That's where they put us.
Right.
She said, no, my granddaughter, you ain't gonna be in nobody's dang on kitchen.
Right. And
so that was kind of her, her thing. But the food, though, of course, comes more from, like, my great aunt. She had sisters who, oh my God, when we'd be visiting Ruston, Louisiana, I would love waking up at my Aunt Dolly's house, because I'd wake up to the smell of biscuits and bacon and ham and all these jams made from the fruit that the trees grew in her backyard.
Yeah.
And so my grandmother was not necessarily, she wasn't the cooking type, that, at least for me, but with my mother, and I'll tell you another experience I have had that has really shaped my ideas about food and family. I was with a man for 17 years who's from Gambia, West Africa. When you get in the kitchen with them African women, baby, let me tell you, it goes down. Okay, you learn all kinds of stuff. Spices I never heard of, vegetables and fruit and fish I had never heard of. I'm like, what? This is my culture. These are my roots. Absolutely. I love it. Yes.
I love it. And I think that the thing that I love is that you guys are both in a space of preserving and continuing the legacy, even though it's not, and it's altered and it's changed. But I think that we're making it so that the girls who come up behind us can aspire to be both. They can be business women, and you can still, redecorate your house every season or be extra with your Christmas tree.
Absolutely.
Here. I still every day I talk myself out of adding more ornaments to it. I'm like, maybe I want to
Baby, it's your tree. Do what you want to
I
do.
know,
Exactly.
right? I feel like I've done too much. I'm like,
Ain't
am I
2020 taught you that? Do what you want to do. Say what you want to
Right.
do.
If you want to keep your tree up until the Valentine's Day, go on and keep it up. Because I'm like this. We have these perimeters that we set for ourselves, and society has set these perimeters. And I'm just like, my mother was like, my mother was a part of the Panther movement. So she thought like her mindset was totally different. She was very radical. She was like, do whatever you want to do. Like, if you don't want to do that, and they would be like, oh, well, you're not making my children go to church. If they don't want to go, they don't have to go. That was her mindset, to make up your mind on it. Your own mind, what you want to do in your path, what you want to do. She gave us a voice, because we come from an era where children are seen and not heard. My mother allowed us.
Oh my gosh, I hate that.
Yes, and she allowed us to have a voice. All 6 of her children, like, we would sit around and we would talk about a lot of different things, and we were allowed to express ourselves.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, because that doesn't.
Yeah,
my mama's house. And it made me do that with my daughters. I'm like, look at here. I remember when my oldest daughter wanted to get her tongue pierced, and I'm thinking, so I called my mama, because that's who I talked to. I said, Mama, your granddaughter want to get her damn tongue pierced. I think she was like a junior, senior in high school. She said, I hope you told her. Hell no. I said, nope, that's not what I told her. I told her, I said, because remember, she thinks. She's a thinker. Okay, so if she slows down enough. And so what I said to her was, you do the research, and then you come back and you sell it to me. Convince me that I should sign for my daughter to go get her tongue pierced. I said, and we'll go do it. Weeks passed. She ain't mentioned nothing. So one day we're at dinner, and I said, hey, honey, how's that research coming? She said, Mama, do you know, if I get my tongue pierced and it get infected, it could swell up, cut off my airways. She said, and I could end up with hepatitis. And I'm like, really? I said, so I guess you don't want your tongue pierced no more.
Right.
And that was all over food. We had that conversation over food. But because I did not necessarily have that kind of freedom of voice, which I think is critical for Black women. Mm-hmm. And I would tell my mother all the time, because she would say, those girls are going to run all over you. And I said, well, if they do, then I got you, and you're going to help me reel them back in, right? I said, but I'm raising Black girls. They need to know how to stand for what they want. Absolutely. I need them to know how to critically think. I said, this ain't about me. It ain't about you. Okay, so we're going to try this a little differently and see what happens.
Yeah, I love that, because we're also in a space where a lot of us are, as we're doing all these really amazing things, but we feel uncomfortable talking about it.
Yeah.
And we don't want to, toot our own horns or share our own accolades. And I really have been working on myself to get myself out of the space of being like, oh, I don't want to talk about, whatever. I don't want to talk about that. Being like, no, toot
your horn, girl.
Right.
Yeah, I used to be like that too. Like, oh, enough about me. What about you? And then I had to say, you have to celebrate yourself. Mm-hmm. You are entitled to that. Take that time and the opportunity to do that. Celebrate you. Yeah. Forget about people celebrate you. Celebrate yourself. Right. Just like how we need to forgive ourselves
this year.
We need to forgive ourselves for past transgressions. We need to forgive ourselves. Yeah. We need to love ourselves, and we need to know that we are perfectly imperfect, and we just keep doing what we do in love. And it's just like I know that I used to be just like that, like, okay, enough about me. But now it's like, girl, let me tell you what I'm doing. Let me tell you what I came across now. Girl, wait till you see this one. Oh, you ain't ready. They ain't ready, girl. They ain't ready. Yes. And I'll be just like, it is what it is. I can't think about how people are gonna perceive it and receive it.
And let me say this, because Shanita and I were having that conversation over the last couple of days, and I was having a conversation with one of my best friends. She's in the Bahamas. Now Jay is like, she a beast, so she don't take no crap from nobody. She gonna do what she want to do. She come through like a bulldozer, right? Me, on the other hand, oh, as you said, I get all kind of shy to a certain degree. I get kind of like into myself. When I get excited about certain things, but I think over the last few years, it's kind of like crushed me, and I'm about to launch something that's very, very special to me. Everyone knows that I love chocolate, and I'm about to launch this project. And today, but also let me mention this, that's behind this. I work for a great company, but they're all men. And most of the time, wherever I've worked, it's been all men. So it's like you kind of shrink, but then when you stand up for yourself and start talking, they're looking at you like, oh, you coming out the side of your mouth. Now, over the next few weeks and next few months and the rest of my life, if they want to consider that me coming out of the side of my mouth, that's what it's just going to be. But even today, like, I am so anxious and so nervous, even because, as you said, you got to learn to forgive yourself for whatever has happened in the past, because tomorrow it don't matter. Right. It's what's tomorrow, So I'm glad you said that. I hope that women are listening today and tomorrow when they get to go back and listen to this, because we absolutely have to say, love yourself, forgive yourself, do what you want to do.
And stand up for yourself.
Respectful.
Stand up for yourself. Today I had one of my pieces of equipment was faulty. And I had to go back to the equipment guy and be like, and I had to tell him, and the guy that I'm seeing, like, he just came on the scene. He just took on this whole project with me to help me. So he wasn't there when I purchased the equipment. So I went back to the guy and I said, listen, let me say what I have to say to him. And then if you feel you need to step in, you step in. And I told the guy, I said, listen, when I came here to buy this equipment, I paid cash with this. I didn't ask you for a discount. I didn't haggle with you. I didn't barter with you. And you're not about to handle me any kind of way. I said, time is money. Just like, he started to go into this whole machismo type of male type of, talking down to you. And I just stood up and I just said, nah, you're not going to handle me like that.
Because if you were a man, he wasn't going to talk to you like that.
No, because the guy got on the phone with him like he was my husband. And he was telling him, and he's like, well, your husband is talking to me. I said, that's his job. You're not finna tell me what his job supposed to be. That's his job. Yeah. He's supposed to protect me.
Right.
So if somebody was talking crazy to your wife or did something to your wife, you mean to tell me you would just let them do that? Or would you stand up? I said, so he's the same thing. He's a man like you. He puts his pants on one leg at a time like you do. So we not going there with that. I need you to rectify this problem, and it needs to be rectified in the morning. Period. Right.
And a lot of times we feel like we're in a place where we have to acquiesce, and we have to be, all throughout early in my career, it was you're aggressive, you're too assertive. And what I learned is that I'm forward and blunt, and people don't know how to deal with forwardness and bluntness. And I don't get good results when I am not forward, because I don't like to go all the way around the corner to get across the street. Can we just cross the street?
Right.
And that's it. Can we just cross the street? Can we not get our feelings all tangled up into this? And can we just cross the street? And as women and as Black women who own businesses, we have to be in that place with ourselves. So I applaud you, ladies, because I have seen Miss Sheila in action. She might pour honey all over it, but she makes it very plain.
He's from Chicago. Listen.
With honey,
you got to.
But it's very plain. We've worked at a restaurant together, and I have seen her handle people at the hostess station who thought they was gonna come in and tell, and Miss Sheila was be like, "Oh no, that's not what we're doing today."
Right.
We are not doing that.
Right.
We're gonna be
Sheila.
respectful.
No.
We're here to serve you, baby girl. Okay. But what you're not going to do is come in here and disrespect us. We're not having that. Not today.
We're not slaves. We're servants. Like, there's a difference.
Exactly.
Like, come
and
on.
we enjoy that. We enjoy giving that to you, sharing that with you, but you ain't running all over us. I used to tell, and even some of the servers that worked at this restaurant, and you know, the little stuff they would say, I said, do y'all know who Chef Shanita is for real, for real? For real, for real. Do y'all really know? I said, because it's an honor for me to be here under her. And you ought to consider it an honor too, and respect her accordingly.
And we have to teach that in this career.
We have to. I'm like, really? I said, y'all better Google her. What the heck?
I'm glad she said it, but that's like, I feel like I'm going to make another glass that says Google me.
We have to stand up for one another, even when the person is not around. We have to learn how to have that camaraderie mindset that's been lost somewhere along the line. It's been lost. Yes, and it's all about claw. You know, we got our claws out and we backbiting and stuff, and we can't. Oh, women can't get together, which is so untrue. And we spend so much time dispelling all these myths surrounding Black women and gathering together. And I'm just over it. I'm like, listen, we can all get along. All of us, we all hook our bras in the front and switch them around in the back. Listen, baby, don't listen.
Well,
because just like she told them, say nobody, you can't go say nothing about so and so not while I'm here. Don't do that.
And I love that. And that's what we were talking about. And we have Kara's on too. We'll bring her in. But we were talking about this last week with our guest last week about us being in this food space. And we're all trying to get published and we're all trying to get national attention. And what I'm trying to do is create a platform and a sisterhood where I can be like, you know what? That's not really my area, but Chef Danielle, that's more her lane. And not feel like I have to bastardize myself or try to do something that's not my lane just because I don't know when I'm going to get another opportunity. And my whole goal over the next year is to continue to promote this sisterhood so that we can all relax and know that if something comes along my way that's fitted for either of you ladies, you can trust that I'm sending it your way, and vice versa, without there being anything. And so we have Kara on because the last few minutes I want to talk about if you guys have products, so that we can show them, and then we're gonna bring Kara on. She's got a family farm, and they are selling. I'm still waiting on my coffee.
I know I've been busy, Pumpkin. I work 6 days a week, really 7, okay? So I will get to her and I will get girl, I just sent you a whole box of coffee.
I drank it all. I'm almost as
I got you spoiled. I got you spoiled.
So we'll bring Kara on. If you guys have products, do you want to show us? Let's show some things so people can see what we're working
I'll get it.
Okay, I'm gonna bring Kara in. Here we go. Yes, Kara has her pecan coffee, which I am anticipating the pecan coffee from Abundant Harvest Farms. Hey, Kara, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, ladies?
We are wonderful. We are
good.
Hi. Sheila, this is Kara. Kara is in Florida. She's got a family farm, and they have been running your farm since 2012.
2014.
2014.
Yes.
They've been running the farm. But they started out as a co-op for the family members. So everybody in the family all worked together and did it. So while we're going to talk about your products, but Sheila and I both are going to talk about something that we have that's local. So I'm wearing my local lip gloss and liner from Pink Lips Cosmetics. They're local here. And I'm only telling you about this lady is because look, yes,
I know, right?
Nice.
Yes, so you can.
You'll put that in our.
Yep. Wear this lip gloss and wear your mask. It's not gonna smear all over your face, and it's not drying, and it's very moisturizing. And I did like the little lip pencil with it. And Sheila, what color do you have on? I have on the Paint the Town Red. is what I'm wearing.
You know, I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see. And this was actually from her last fall collection. But it's Pink Lips Cosmetics. Y'all look her up. A young sister who is doing the thing. Okay. And yeah, see, look, and there's no lipstick transfer.
I think she just got a grant from Beyonce.
Shut up.
I do. I think that she just got a grant from Beyonce's foundation. So anyway, that's something that she's doing. Cara, do you want to tell us about your coffee again that I'm so excited to have?
Yes. We'll get your coffee to you. Yes,
we will get her coffee. She gonna be all right.
She will. Our coffee.
I'll share some with you, Sheila, for our strategy session. Okay.
Yes. Yes. And I'll bring the whiskey to put in it.
Yes, our coffee was actually created because I actually have a sensitivity to highly caffeinated coffees, and I was unable to find something that was natural and didn't have a lot of caffeine in it. So we used product that we already have, which is our pecans from our orchard, and beans from the Port of Jacksonville. And we found a family roaster, and they roast them together for us. So they're naturally flavored. They're not artificially flavored. And they're not highly caffeinated, and we have no additives in the coffee.
When I had my restaurant, I would brew it on Saturdays and Sundays, and people
yes, girl, yes. I gotta get some coffee because I'm a coffee drinker, and my friend in Atlanta, she's like a great, like we do coffee over, like we will video coffee and have coffee, and we'll be cooking and doing stuff. You know, she's not a chef, but she's a home cook, and she loves to cook. And we have foodies, and we love coffee. Like we love embarking on new types of coffees, flavors, and stuff like that.
Well, you would fall
like a coconut coffee.
You would fall in love with
yes, I can't. I'm excited.
Good. We'll get some coffee to you guys, definitely.
Yes, ma'am. Give me the site. I will get some coffee and ship it to my girlfriend. Yes.
Okay, I put the site in the chat.
I did. I put it in there. Yeah, we can put it in there. Okay, Chef Danielle, let's talk about what you got. Are those one of your duvets in the back?
Yeah, this is my. They're all colorful. This is my duvet. This fabric is discontinued, unfortunately, but it's sold out when I did produce it. But yeah, we have duvet covers. They're queen size for now, and you know, because I live in a small apartment in Brooklyn, New York, I can't afford to keep buying all these comforters. There's nowhere to store them. So I just said, you know what, duvet covers, and they're you know, and I like to feel like I'm, you know, relating to who I am. You know, African. I'm not a real flowery type like my mom was. She was like, oh,
you know what? And I don't do flowers because
I can't. I'm more of a African print. Like my spirit gravitates more towards that type of, you know, print. So and this is like one of my head wraps. This is called the Purple Empress. It has all the
and you know what, Chef Danielle, you just showed purple, and this girl is about to fall out her chair. Her favorite color is purple.
Really? My daughter's favorite color is purple. So you can wrap a head wrap on. It's very easy to wrap. A lot of people find it difficult to wrap head wraps, and it's really like very easy, very, you know,
I love it.
And I love to represent who I am. And I love to let people know who I am and where I come from and what I stand for. So, you know, it's very easy. Like I said, I aspire to be like B.Smith, but I want to be my own B.Smith, represent where I come from, yet and still, you know, do continue her legacy of doing a lot of things. So this is our men's apron.
Oh, wow.
Look at those colors.
And it has a pocket in the front.
Wow.
And these are all on our website.
Okay, when you're done showing us, you have to put that in the chat so that we can.
I will. And this is our pink cowrie shell. It has like cowrie shells all over it.
So pretty.
So that's amazing.
And now, Chef Danielle, you were selling this in your pop-up over the last, 3 weeks?
Yeah, I was there for 2 weeks. So,
out, right?
Yeah, so Bank of America sponsored me to be in Bryant Park to sell. So they built a glass booth. So it was all encased in glass, so people can look inside and see you. And I had the opportunity to sell there. I was there for 2 weeks. The booth was free. Otherwise, the booth is like $1,500 a week.
Wow.
Yeah, $1,500 to $2,500 depending on the size of your booth and where you are located and all that. So Bank of America sponsored. They have like a lot of great programs here in New York for entrepreneurs, but you got to Debo yourself into these. You got to act like Debo from Friday. And I don't mind, because I'm a Brooklyn girl. I will go Debo myself into any space, and I'll Debo myself into these spaces where it's predominantly white people, and I will, do my thing. And I did very well being in Bryant Park for 2 weeks. I sold a lot of aprons. I sold a lot of HeadWraps. I sold sweet potato pies. I sold brownies, cookies. I had everything. Lampshades. I even buy like repurposed lamps and and put shades on them and sell them.
Yeah.
This is, I think you can see this lamp right here. This is my lamp.
Nice.
That lamp I bought, it's repurposed, and then the lampshade I made myself.
Wow.
So I to buy the kits, and I sit in my off time. Well, not really. I don't have any off time, but I make the shades.
You say off in quotations.
Yeah. Right. And I make lamps.
There's no such thing as off time.
No.
Right.
And that's just what I do. Yeah, this is another a men's apron that I have.
The colors are so vibrant and so beautiful.
I love it.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, and I handpicked the fabric myself, and if it speaks to me, I buy it. So I just, that's why I go in there with the mindset, and I be like, okay, ancestors, tell me what I'm buying today. And I go in there, and they speak to me. They're like, girl, get that one, and I just be like, all right. And I just, that's what it is.
Okay, Sheila, let's see some of your pieces. Sheila and her daughter have just started their Gangsta Goddess Collection. And every time she posts something on the site, I'm like, ooh, I ain't got nowhere to go, but that show looks cute.
So there's Gangsta Goddess Kitchen, and actually first quarter you start seeing products out of Gangsta Style. Okay. Gangsta Style is placemats, table runners, coasters, decorative pillows. And I remember my oldest daughter said, Mom, do you remember when we first got on our own? She said, you made all of our stuff. Wow, why are you not making that stuff? Yeah, we can buy some from the wholesalers, but we can have a very, limited edition that is part of the Gangster Style edition that you create and make yourself. So that's what I'm working on. I'm telling you, B.Smith, look, had her name on pots and pans and cutting boards, spice racks, wine racks. You're going to look up very soon and you're going to see Gangsta Style or Gangsta Goddess Kitchen on there.
And her daughter makes, she's being shy, but her daughter makes the most amazing waist beads I have ever seen.
I'm going to show you guys too.
So beautiful. So
it's so funny. Me and our stories are so similar. Yes. My daughter makes waist beads as well. Like she makes waist beads, and she does nails. She do nails and she does makeup. She went to nail tech school during the pandemic, took a lot of her classes virtually, and got her, her license to be a nail tech.
Wow.
And she makes waist beads as well. And I know she's probably just like her daughter, and my daughter are probably just one and the same. Very vocal, very like, Mom, why don't you, Mom, what you gonna do now? All on top of me like a manager.
Yes. She's like, Mama, you giving away recipes? You need to be selling them for 99 cents a recipe. What you doing?
No.
Stop giving away your information, mother.
Right.
Great information.
Look, I'm the one with the NBA, not her. She's like, I think you guys would call those your intellectual properties and you're giving them away. Come on, mama.
Right.
But so out of Gangster Goodies comes, because you ladies know that across the world, 80% of households, the woman is responsible for the nutrition in the family.
Right.
And so she's a gangster goddess. And we define a gangster goddess as a woman who refuses to accept mediocrity. That's what my t-shirt says, as if it's her final destination, while possessing a unique combination of beauty, brains, and spirituality.
Wow.
How can we tap into that? And so my daughter was like, well, so she started making waist beads. Because again, the gentleman I was with for 17 years is from Gambia, West Africa. So that is my first introduction to waist beads almost 30 years ago. Okay. And so she just started creating them, and we do them kind of, no two beads are alike. Now you may have, I'll take off a couple, put them on here. I didn't realize I tied them to the pole. You may have, 5 purple strands, but none of them are exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
So this one has this cute little, I guess let's turn around. There we go.
That's pretty.
And so it's orange, and it has a little cowrie shell. And cowrie shells in our, it's significant, And so when we have a goddess who says, that she is wanting to evoke certain energies, then my daughter does custom strands, and so when someone says they want to manifest money, we put cowrie shells on there, especially if she's African American, because that's a manifestation of wealth and abundance.
Absolutely.
So we have that. We have, of course, the Gangster Goddess signature t-shirt. And it just says Gangster Goddess, never mediocre. And within her, because our hair is our crown, okay?
Absolutely.
They still trying to understand that and figure that out. But within this crown, it says beauty, brains, spirituality, all across there, okay? And we even put it on an apron.
Nice.
Yay! And all this stuff is available on our website.
That's really nice.
We started the collection with waist beads, and then this year we launched clothing. And so clothing for women who are not mediocre, and it is, and so it's just different again, because we're not going out, and so that's something that, she has to keep in mind. People aren't going out. We're staying at home.
If they're not, you should be at home. If you're not at home, you need to be. We are not encouraging people to be out and about.
Exactly.
Carry on.
Exactly. So cute little stuff you can wear right at home. You can serve your family in. You can dress up for your boo thing.
Get your coffee.
Yes. Yes.
Right,
yes.
Sheila?
Yes.
Lounge around your house.
Yes.
Very cute.
Yes. And then I have a 14-year-old granddaughter. And she's already made it clear that she's not interested in college. Now, that's a hard pill for me to swallow. And I know that's a hard pill for my grandma to swallow, okay? Because Maggie was all about the education. But you know what? If that's not what you want, we can't force you to do that. But what we want you to do is come up with an idea, because this is part of your legacy. So what are you going to bring to it? Okay.
Absolutely.
And let's do it. And so her idea. And so we're going to launch in April with the Goddess in Training Collection. Age appropriate clothing for girls between the ages of 14 and 18.
Nice.
Yeah. We both have teenage granddaughters. My granddaughter's 15. So you and I, our stories are so alike.
Yes.
So this is something that is going on my website on Friday. But so we're doing a subscription box. So this is the box.
Nice.
Doing something here, and I'm going to change it out each month. And it's our Waffle of the Month Club. So you'll get a little box like this, and the first one will be the red velvet, and inside is the packaging. and you'll have your, I'm going to give you the red food coloring because it's hard to find. So I'm just going to get it, put it in there. And then you have, this is my mixed berry syrup, balsamic, and it's got strawberry, blueberry in there.
Ooh.
And then you have your waffle mix. And then you can order your coffee from Cara.
Yes.
Red velvet waffle mix, so you can have all this on Christmas morning for breakfast.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cara. I said Sheila. Cara, I'm sorry.
I want that. You know what? I was just saying to my, because my daughter and I are like, what are we going to have for Christmas? I'm like, who knows? I said, I really want to try Chef Shanita's sweet potato waffle.
I'm going to do sweet potato next month. I'm going to do the sweet potato waffles next month.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ladies, our last one, which, because Shanita and I were both announcing our new ventures. So I am
online.
And Simply Erica starts tonight. We have our website. I am with this box. It is a subscription box, of course, but in this box you have 7 different items. With this box you receive this nice little thank you card or happy, whichever month it is. The month of December, you will receive a 38% milk chocolate bar that I make from Brazil, cocoa beans.
Nice.
Great Mountain Tertullian granola, which has cocoa nibs, coconut oil, oats, pumpkins.
It's good granola. I have a scar from back in the day.
Oh my God, this girl is crazy. My milk chocolate hazelnut spread. Espresso chocolate truffles. And all this goes along with her waffles and Cara's beautiful
coffee. Oh, yes.
Now, people, if you're not drinking coffee, because I can't drink coffee, but I drink hot chocolate. So you can receive the hot chocolate, which is Island Cinnamon Hot Chocolate, and the cinnamon is from Grenada. I use most of everything is from the Southern Caribbean or through, that way. And then you also receive a 4-piece box of bonbons assorted. 7 different items every month, different flavors. And also in this box is I think I have them up here, is my famous chocolate chip cookies. In this box, you'll also see the map. There's a map that will tell you the fruit flavors, the textures and flavors of the cocoa and the chocolate. Next month will be Colombian cocoa beans. Everything is organized, branded perfectly. The website, we're hoping that we can finish it and be launched completely tonight. The Instagram page is Simply Erica's. We put that up tonight. Very, very excited. All I want to do when I retire is make chocolate.
Oh,
all of us boss ladies.
Yes.
Before we go, ladies.
Yes.
Cheers.
Everyone. I pray that everybody's businesses do well, not just in 2020, but now, tonight.
Let's claim it.
May our businesses be touched.
Yes.
May we move forward, full steam ahead from now until forever. Until we till we hand over the torch to our babies.
Yes. Claim it, we claim it.
And it's so funny,
what an amazing show.
She's like, when are you opening? I'm ready to work. When are you opening? I'm ready to fit. She's 15. She's like, when you opening? I'm ready to work. Don't worry, girl. I got plenty of work for you. Don't worry.
Yes.
I love it. And so we don't have to end on our normal question because I feel like we kind of already talked about what we're doing in 2020. And I think that it's not supporting each other as sisters, as Black business owners. And I know that as we move forward into 2021, we formed a sisterhood, and that we will continue to promote support
Each other.
and collaboration. I always I feel like my word of the year came to me earlier for next year than it normally does. And I feel like my word for next year is collaboration. Like this year, I was looking at being very intentionally aligned with people. And I feel like I've gotten those very intentional relationships. Now I want to figure out ways that focusing on in the next coming year, collaboration. So
Yes.
you ladies will be hearing from us again and again and again and again and again.
Yes.
All of your websites here, and
And you never know, we might pop up on you.
Yes. Come on.
Right. Right, Sharita. I mean, girl, I'm here. I got wine. We'll be cooking, girl. Let's do this. Get our granddaughters together. Let's politic and teach and learn. That's what that's all I am.
I love it. So thank you, ladies, so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on our very last show of our first season.
All the websites, please. Websites.
So this is our last show for 2020, and we will see you guys in the new year.
Yes.
2021.
With beautiful things from all of us, ladies.
Yes.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Okay.